Glycolysis. It's like the opening act of the Cellular Respiration show. This apple? It's not just a tasty snack. It contains glucose, the superstar molecule in glycolysis. Picture this. We're in the cytoplasm, the bustling downtown of the cell where all the action happens. Glycolysis is the metabolic pathway that kicks things off, using a whole squad of enzymes to break down glucose into some of that sweet, sweet ATP energy. But here's the crazy part. The cell actually has to spend some ATP to get the party started. I know that sounds totally counterintuitive, but stick with me. Because by the end of glycolysis, we'll see how it begins to pay off. We'll follow the journey of the 6 carbon atoms in glucose as they split into 2 carbon-containing pyruvate molecules, while some electrons swapping from NADH. It's like a biochemical square dance. Now let's get into the details. Glycolysis is a metabolic pathway. That means it has multiple chemical reactions that are catalyzed by enzymes. I know this figure is very detailed, and don't freak out. I'm not going to expect you to learn all these structures and names. Review though. Remember that I told you most enzyme names end in ASE? Here's some examples to just look at. Kinase, isomerase, dehydrogenase. Don't need to learn them. We'll begin with glucose. Remember, it's a 6-carbon sugar. The chemical formula is C6H12O6. It will be important that we track all 6 of those carbons through the process. Each one of these are eventually going to be oxidized into a molecule of carbon dioxide. In the first step, notice the cell is actually investing a molecule of ATP at this point. This might seem counterintuitive since the whole goal of cellular respiration is to produce ATP, but it's a necessary investment. In fact, the cell has to invest 2 ATP molecules at the beginning of glycolysis. We also see that the 6 carbons of glucose are now split into 2 3-carbon compounds. It's important to remember that we still have all 6 carbons. They're just divided into 2 molecules instead of in 1. Eventually, glycolysis will yield 2 molecules of pyruvate. Now, do we still have all 6 carbons? Yeah. Pyruvate has 3 carbons, and we have 2 of them. 3 times 2 is 6. The other thing to notice is that we see production of ATP. Remember, we invested 2 ATP at the beginning, but we get 4 ATP out. That gives us a net gain of 2. In addition to the 2 pyruvates and the net gain of 2 ATP, we also have the generation of an electron carrier called NADH. This happens twice, so we get 2 NADH molecules. These electron carriers are going to be crucial when we get to the electron transport chain. So where are these electrons coming from? They're coming from glucose. As glucose gets broken down, the bonds are broken and electrons are released. These electrons then are picked up by NAD+, which forms NADH. So there you have it, glycolysis, the cellular energy kickstarter. We've seen how glucose gets split, rearranged, transformed into pyruvate, and we've seen a generation of ATP and those crucial electron carriers NADH. But hold on to your hats, folks, because this is just the beginning. Glycolysis is merely the first act in the grand production of cellular respiration. The pyruvate and the NADH we've produced are headed for bigger and better things, the mitochondria. In our next episode, we'll follow those pyruvate molecules into the mitochondrial matrix, where they'll get a makeover in something called the Krebs cycle. What about the NADH molecules? Hold on to those. They'll be unleashed in the epic electron transport chain.